Listen. Do you hear it? Beneath the floorboards, inside the walls, that waiting. It's the silence before the scream, the stillness before the fall. It's the sound a house makes when it's no longer just brick and mortar, but a cage for something hungry. Atchison, Kansas, 1992. A town steeped in river mist and older, darker histories. On North 2nd Street, a house, unremarkable, white-clapboard, a picket fence dreaming of better days. To Tony and Deborah Pickman, it was hope, a fresh start, a nursery waiting for their son, baby Chad. They painted walls sunshine yellow. They hung curtains. They laughed. They believed in beginnings. They were wrong. Started small, insidious, a misplaced toy, a chilling draft where no window stood open. Whispers, not from the next room, but from inside the room. Deborah would feel it first. Presence, heavy, cold, watching from the corner where the light didn't quite reach. Watching Chad. Tony, the skeptic, brushed it off. Drafts, old houses settling, stress. But the house wasn't settling. It was waking up. The whispers grew louder, sharper. Not words, but malice. A low, guttural hiss that slithered down the spine. Objects began to move. A coffee cup levitating, then shattering against the wall. A chair scooting violently across the floor, untouched. Shadows deepened, pooling in corners like spilled ink, taking shapes, small shapes. Then came the scratches. Thin, red lines appearing on skin. On Deborah's arms as she slept. On Tony's back after a shower. Like the claws of an invisible kitten, playing rough. Too rough. The air thickened, tasting of ozone and decay. Fear, once a visitor, became a permanent resident, breathing down their necks, freezing the blood in their veins. They called for help. Paranormal investigators, drawn by the escalating horror. Sensitives walked in, faces pale, speaking of a presence. Not one, but layers. Anger, sadness, and something else. Something small, something vicious. They named her Sallie, a child spirit, they said. Trapped, angry, attached to the house and to Chad. The investigations became a descent into hell. Cameras captured orbs of light streaking like malevolent fireflies. EVP recorders captured that voice. A little girl's voice, sweet one moment, snarling with inhuman rage the next. Asterisk, get out. Mine. Hurt. Thermometers plunged in specific spots, cold spots that felt like open graves. Objects flew, not fell, flew with deadly intent. A heavy candlestick hurled past Tony's head. Books ripped from shelves. Sally's focus sharpened. On Chad. His toys would animate in the dead of night, rattling in his crib. His mobile would spin frantically, playing a twisted, sped-up version of its lullaby. Deborah would wake to find the baby's blanket pulled tight over his face, icy cold fingers brushing her own as she tore it away. The house pulsed with malice, the very walls seeming to breathe, watching, waiting for the moment. Fire. It started in Chad's room, a small, contained blaze erupting in the corner where his stuffed bear lay. No source, no explanation, just sudden, hungry flame. They stamped it out, hearts hammering against ribs like trapped birds. Firemen found nothing, no faulty wiring, no accelerant, just malice made manifest. The attacks escalated. Tony bore the worst. Deep, bleeding scratches raked across his chest while wide awake. He was thrown bodily down the stairs by an unseen force, landing in a heap, bones screaming. The final, unshakable proof came one suffocating night. Asleep beside Deborah, Tony awoke to searing pain. 3 deep, parallel gashes torn across his back. Not scratches, wounds, photographed by investigators, documented by police. Real, bleeding, impossible. The house wasn't haunted. It was alive, and it hated them. Sallie wasn't just a lost child. She was a predator, a poltergeist of terrifying violence, using the mask of innocence to stalk, to terrify, to feed on their despair. The investigators grew pale, their instruments useless against this raw, ancient fury. The Pickman's hope curdled into pure, unadulterated terror. Their sanctuary had become a slaughterhouse waiting for the kill. They fled, leaving furniture, leaving clothes, leaving behind the sunshine yellow walls now stained with fear. They ran from North 2nd Street, carrying only their son and the invisible scars that would never heal. They thought distance was safety. They were wrong. Whispers followed Deborah in her new kitchen. Cold spots found Tony in his new office. The weight of watching eyes never truly lifted. Sallie, or whatever wore Sallie's name, wasn't bound by bricks and mortar. She was bound to them, to the terror she had sown. Asterisk, asterisk. The house still stands. In Atchison, on North 2nd Street, new families come, drawn by the legend, by the film, Sallie's wrath. They paint the walls. They hang new curtains. They laugh. They believe in fresh starts. They are wrong. The investigators documented the scratches. The police reports detailed the fires. The recordings captured the whispers, but they couldn't capture it. The thing that waits, the thing that hungers, the thing that wears a little girl's face like a shroud. Because the final twist, the one that coils like ice in your gut long after the screen fades, it wasn't just the house. It wasn't just Sallie. The terror, it wasn't confined. It wasn't ever confined. It learned to follow. It learned to adapt. It learned to like the fear. And it's always looking for new walls to whisper through, new children to watch, new families to break. Turn on the light. Check the closet. Listen, just beneath the floorboards. Do you hear it? That waiting? It never really left Atchison. It just found new doors to knock upon.